In recent months alone, Iran has seized ships in international waters, fired an unprovoked strike on Saudi Arabia, and shot down 2 U.S. drones. Iran's hostilities substantially increased after the foolish Iran nuclear deal was signed in 2013. Death to America. In fact, they chanted death to America the day the agreement was signed. Then Iran went on a terror spree, funded by the money from the deal.
Just joining me for breakfast, and we're watching
Yemen, Syria,
Trump.
Lebanon, Afghanistan, and Iraq.
I'm a little late because fucking Streamlabs on my phone wouldn't work. So far, he hasn't said anything important. He's continued to lie about Soleimani, and so far that's just appears to be par for the course. So, cool president. Cool president. Let me find my charger.
The very defective JCPOA expires shortly anyway and gives Iran a clear and quick path to nuclear breakout. Iran must abandon its nuclear ambitions and end its support for terrorism. The time has come for the United Kingdom, Germany, France, Russia, and China to recognize this reality. They must now break away from the remnants of the Iran deal, or JCPOA. And we must all work together toward making a deal with Iran.
Yeah, that's how it works.
The world a safer and more peaceful place.
That's how it fucking works.
We must also make a deal that allows Iran to thrive and prosper and take advantage of its enormous untapped potential. Iran can be a great country. Peace and stability cannot prevail in the Middle East as long as Iran continues to foment violence, unrest, hatred, and war.
Hey, Gabionist. Yeah, I know, and I was still late.
Message to the Iranian regime. Your campaign of terror, murder, mayhem
Jesus fucking Christ.
will not be tolerated any longer. It will not be allowed to go forward. Today, I am going to ask NATO to become much more involved in the Middle East process. Over the last 3 years,
what the fuck does that even mean?
Our economy is stronger than ever before, and America has achieved energy independence. These historic accomplishments change our strategic priorities. These are accomplishments that nobody thought were possible.
He looks tired.
And options in the Middle East became available. We are now the #1 producer of oil and natural gas anywhere in the world. We are independent.
Like, dude looks extra sleepy.
Middle East oil.
Yeah, he was. But, you know, as I said the other day, his fucking supporters don't give a shit that he completely goes against every single promise. They just want to support their fucking daddy.
Our missiles are big, powerful, accurate, lethal, and fast.
Oh, he's whipping his dick out. He's whipping his dick out. He's swinging it around, guys. Look how big my dick is.
The fact that we have this great military and equipment, however, does not mean we have to use it. We do not want to use it. American strength, both military and economic, is the best.
Bear with me. I'm eating my breakfast.
3 months ago, after destroying 100% of ISIS and its territorial caliphate.
That's not how it works, but okay.
The savage leader of ISIS, al-Baghdadi, who was responsible for so much death, including the mass beheadings of Christians, Muslims, and all who stood in his way.
Who was also responsible for getting rid of ISIS? Oh, right. Soleimani. The guy you just called a fucking terrorist based on no information. Still, no proof. No proof.
Yoga, wait.
None.
ISIS is a natural enemy of Iran. The destruction of ISIS
is
good for Iran. And we should work together on this and other shared priorities. Finally, to the people and leaders of Iran, we want you to have a future and a great future, one that you deserve. One of prosperity at home and harmony with the nations of the world. The United States is ready to
You guys
embrace
want to see
peace
Zoe?
with all who seek it. I want to thank you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
That was it? Hold
You
on.
can hear reporters in the room asking questions. The president taking none as he concludes his remarks. His first reaction to the Iranian attack on U.S.-occupied bases.
Hold up. So that boiled down to him telling Europe to stop supporting the nuclear deal, to support us, and NATO needs to get more involved than they already are, despite the fact that both of those organizations, we'll say, had a peace deal worked out that up until we fucking bombed the convoy of Soleimani, they were following. That was nothing. This is your fucking strong leader? This is your leading from strength? He's so fucking strong. He didn't say anything, guys. He didn't say a goddamn thing. He asked for help. He asked for help from people who aren't going to give it. And they're not going to give it because this is incredibly stupid and they know it. But this is your leading from strength. How long was that? Like 4 minutes? 4 minutes to say, hey, we need allies because we fucking fucked that. I screwed up any support I could have possibly had in the world. And now I'm asking you to come and help me support actions that you never supported before. The parallels between this and Iraq are numerous. All we need now is fucking Boris Johnson to go along with it. And then we got our new Tony Blair. It's not a real war on terror. Trump, you're a coward. Trump sees profit as more important than his own fucking positions. Well, I think somebody laid it out to him that we can't win this war. We literally cannot. I think they came to him and was like, sir, you can't just declare war on this country. I think they came to him and said, we don't have the votes in the Senate, in the fucking Senate. We don't have the votes anywhere. True. Hi, True Leveler. And hi, Frozen. I mean, no, we to the extent that we dodged a bullet is that no decision has been made. There was nothing there. It's him going, hey, people that have not supported our actions so far, start supporting us so that we can say we have the support of people, and now anything we do is justified from here on out. Well, I think he did that because Iran did the same thing, which is something that I actually appreciated that they did. The reason they did that is to calm the fears of the American people, who they know more than dumbass that we don't want this war. Hi, Sharky. What do you mean new wars aren't declared? Jesus Christ. You don't need to declare war to go to war nowadays. Oh, yeah, true. Ask us about our not war in Yemen. Yeah, true. But for us to officially go to war with this country, we kind of have to. It's too high level. It's too high level not to. It depends. It really depends. High praxis. I'm going to tolerate this. I hope not. Sure, and despite everything, he still did more good work than Boris ever will. True. Still an incredibly low bar to set. It is. Jesus Christ. Like, that was the biggest non-response I've ever seen. They stopped him from answering right away to prepare a speech. Dude looked like he just crawled out of fucking bed. To say, pretty much, hey Europe, hey NATO, we need you to back us. He could have done that in a press release. He could have done that while walking to a helicopter like he usually does. Because it's not like he fucking took questions. He said what he said. And then walked away.
Yoga, wait.
Cool. Getting text messages. The real outrage is Iran ruined his golf plans for today, yeah. Maybe you shouldn't have ordered an assassination of a popular leader while on the fucking golf course, you know? Fucking dumbass. Yeah, popular leader. Go ahead. Look up the 4 million people who were mourning him. He was popular. He helped destroy ISIS. Like, he was working with our troops to get rid of ISIS. He had to make an address, though. In my opinion, the American people want an address. Of course he did. Of course he did. I completely agree that he had to. But you also kind of have to say something. You have to say something, first of all, to quell the fears of the American people. He didn't do that. He didn't say a goddamn thing. He waved his dick around about our weapons. Which, do you think that doesn't stoke further fear of war from the American people? War that the American people don't want? Obviously it does. It still does. Because it says this shit is still on the table. I think he mostly just took shots at Obama. Yeah. So in your eyes, that wasn't justified killing. If being responsible of hundreds of deaths isn't, what is? He's responsible for hundreds of deaths in a proxy war, for responding to a proxy war that we started and we have continued. Oh, he shot down drones. He shot down drones in their airspace. We're literally the common denominator of all this shit that they have had to respond to. So, no, it wasn't a justified killing.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Rock and roll.
Thank you for the
Rock and roll. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let me scroll back up. This was him trying to swing his dick around. Yeah, definitely. 2 drones that were in there. Yeah. If that's a bar, then what do we do with the U.S. military that has killed hundreds of thousands of civilians in the Middle East, right? They had every right to shoot them down. They did, as much as we would. This comforts nationalistic Americans who only care about arms stockpiling, increases American hatred in the Middle East. Yeah. Hundreds of ISIS deaths are a great thing. Protecting, thanks for the follow, Brooksy. Protecting Iranian sovereignty is respectable. Going out of your way to kill that guy instead of fighting ISIS shows your true colors. Yeah. And that guy was fighting ISIS. And he won. So when I say he's a popular leader in Iran, I mean he's a popular leader in Iran. They were pretty happy with him. And for good reason. He was, he wasn't a good guy. I'm by no means saying he was a good guy, but they fucking liked him. Was he a net negative for the world? It doesn't appear to be true. He helped to stabilize a country that, in an area that needs more stabilization. Like, out of all the Middle Eastern countries that we've considered our enemy, they're the most stable. Or they were. Hi, Pax. Like, even their uprisings and their protestings, they were protesting for civil rights. They were protesting to become more progressive. Now do you know what they're doing? You want to know what they're doing now? They have a common enemy. It's our country. They don't care about protesting anymore. I know that for a fact because I had someone who was Iranian in my chat the other day, and he told me as much. What do you mean protecting sovereignty is respectable? Respecting another country's sovereignty should be mandatory in this day and age. Countries and states aren't trying to colonize directly anymore. Not directly, no. Oh. They can go ahead and try, but we'll go ahead and let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. It's Antifa, motherfucker. Punch some fucking Nazis. I bought that at we have a yearly comic convention in Flint, and we found an artist who drew that, and we bought it from him for like $10. Really nice stuff. Deontological Nazi punching, yes, in a video game, of course. The guy fought off U.S. spy drones in ISIS. Colonialism is still an issue, direct or not. True. Just gonna hang out for a little bit more. Spy drones isn't respecting a country's sovereignty. True. That's a good point. That is a very good point. Hey, Mark Monkey, according to a lot of Iranian commentators, are getting really pissed that media is covering all the mourning of Soleimani, while basically not mentioning the celebrations that went on. Only a few weeks ago, students were massacred for a peaceful protest under his orders. He might have pulled well with Iranians, but he's not universally loved there. Nobody's universally loved. Share links. I'm on my phone, so I wouldn't be able to open them right now. That's the only reason why not. Getting mad about shooting down drones. You have no business flying in their airspace. I mean, his point on that praxis is that we were invading their space, so we didn't care about their sovereignty. All I want to know is who shot down the 747 this morning that killed 63 Canadians. I want to know that too. It's gonna take a minute for that information to get out, especially if it was us. And yes, we don't know if it was shot down. We don't know anything yet. Please don't jump to conclusions. We're not doing that on this channel. Iran claims it was due to a fault on the plane. I get the feeling it may have been Iran, though. But we can't make claims on that yet. No, we can't. We can't. We're going to stay calm. We're going to stay centered. And we're going to be smart about this. Allegedly in their airspace. The U.S. still denies the drone wasn't in their airspace. Yeah, well, let me tell you. I honestly trust Iran's reporting a lot more than our reporting because of one simple fact. They were still following the Iran deal until then. They were still being compliant with the European end of that deal. So they had no reason to act in any sort of adversarial way, except for in the proxy wars that we started and are continuing. No, we're not at war. Iran pulled down the statement claiming it was mechanical errors, which I hope is still the case. I hope so too. I hope it was just a mechanical failure. Otherwise, yeah, we're looking at a bigger problem. Yeah, it's, luckily, it's more beard cam. Just because I'm eating breakfast right now. So, Zoot, the majority of what he did in this speech was he wagged his dick around about how powerful our weapons are. Said, we don't want to use them. Called on the Iranian people to stand up. No, of course not. Of course not, Sam. Hi, by the way. I thought you didn't like me. Yeah. It was a lot of that, and then he called on Europe to support us. He called on NATO to be more involved in Iran. And then he walked away without taking any questions. That was literally, it was like fucking 4 minutes. I hope that's the end of it now. Trump is saying that Iran is standing down, so with any luck, this will all blow over. We don't know. I doubt that the Iranian people will even get the message with the censorship. They'll get it. What message is there to say? Like he didn't make us look good there, so they'll probably play it in full. That was a shit ass speech. That was a shit ass response. He didn't say anything. Yeah, they do support the Iran nuclear deal. Iran pulled out of it only until this weekend, meaning after we assassinated their general. New wars focus on starting proxy wars, using contractors, etc. So by a poli-sci understanding, the U.S. is and has been at war with the Middle East for a while without declaring it. Largely, yeah, I agree, and I would like that to end, but we're not at war specifically with Iran. How is he a terrorist? When was he declared a terrorist? Corvo, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you just again, I keep saying this, bud. You just keep, you are against the government and don't believe anything they say when it's a Democrat, but as soon as it's your guy, everything said from the government is truthful, honest, and can be, just taken at its word because he's an honest man. Hi, Nate. We need a righty to give a view on this so they have a positive spin. All the righty's going to say is like, yeah, that's tough. Yeah. He's being tough, but also he's not saying we're going to go to war. In April of this year, the U.S. designated Iran as a foreign terrorist organization. Yeah, except it's not. We were also fighting alongside of them against ISIS. Soleimani was very much involved in that. For treating him like a terrorist organization, the fact that he was in Iraq to talk about further coordination against ISIS in the region with U.S. Military leaders, it seems kind of weird that we would designate this guy a terrorist while also working with them. Just saying. I'm a right-wing Canadian, but I'm agreeing with almost everything said in this stream. That's good. It's not because you say so. But I understand right-wing Canadians and Americans are vastly different. Yeah, you guys are actually to the left of the... you guys are probably closer to the Democratic Party establishment, which is, not exactly left-wing. They're fairly right-wing. We'll turn on Majority Report in a minute when it comes on. I have some stuff that I need to take care of today, but, we're going to hang out for a minute. I thought it important to get this out of the way. Honestly, I've seen so much more mongering from libs on my Facebook. It makes me sick. Yeah. Do you know the missiles they shot was paid for by the $150 billion Obama administration gave them? Patriot. I can't believe I have to keep saying this because this has been debunked so many times that it's insane. That was their money. We unfroze their bank accounts. We didn't give them money. We allowed them to have their money. Huge distinction here. List of Iranian individuals targeted with sanctions in the United Nations Security Council resolution. He was sanctioned again by the U.S. along with Syrian President Bashar al-Assad and other senior Syrian officials due to his alleged involvement in providing material support to the Syrian government. Okay, yeah, but that has nothing to do with us going after them like this. The U.S. included him in a designation of Iranian entities, individuals for proliferation activities in support of terror. 2007, the U.S. included him in a designation of Iranian entities and individuals for proliferation activities in support of terror. So technically it wasn't their money? No, it literally was their money. We froze their bank accounts. They earned it. You're a capitalist, bud. So yeah, it was their money. He's not worth you or anyone else's time. You're not missing anything. We're going by the definition of terrorist. Yeah, which we covered yesterday. By even the U.S., by the U.S.'s definition of terrorism, we're terrorists. He did not fit that definition. Those resolutions, I guaranteed, were proposed by us and Israel. Common enemies that we've made. He basically sent weapons to kill civilians during protests in Syria in 2011. Okay, yeah. But that's not our job to police. What happened to this anti-interventionism from the right-wingers? What happened to it? All of a sudden, you guys are thumping the drums of war because you think our dick is so big that we can go into a country twice the size of Afghanistan with twice the people that is more coordinated, and we're gonna what? We're gonna what? I thought you guys were against regime change war. How the government money are capitalism. What? When did I say I was capitalist? Come on, you're a right-winger. Of course you're capitalist. I'm ready for World War III. I have a shiny Charizard. Haha, you leftists crack me up. Yeah, the whole facts and facts over feels things really really is funny. Yeah. It would be less amusing if they weren't in power, or it'd be more amusing if they weren't in power and if they weren't basically leading the narrative on all this, despite the fact that they're not a majority of this country. Yeah. Like, these are the worst arguments, too. These are seriously so bad. All it is Fox News ticker bullshit. That's already been debunked by people much smarter than both of us. Let's see if Majority Report is... Good Lord. Cody picked a terrible time to cover boars, of all things. Okay. We're turning into Majority Report. I'm sorry for the angle. Debunking is a false flag. Yes. Hi, Lex. Welcome. I don't agree with war, but they're saying the guy was helping the Hezbollah and other terrorists. You know, the reason why Hezbollah is considered a terrorist organization is because we call them a terrorist organization. They have largely not been a terrorist, acted on terrorist tendencies for like a decade and a half. They've actually been incredibly diplomatic. They have tried to get Palestinians recognized in the UN. Like, there's a lot you need to figure out here. You really need to do your research, because you clearly haven't done any research past 2001. Sam did pretty good on Hayes. It's nice that there's so on SDNC not beating the war drum. Yeah. I peeked in towards the end of that. You think I'm going to trust what you're saying or government intelligence? The government intelligence says he... Okay, let's talk about the government intelligence. Besides the defense secretary, everyone in the intelligence, our intelligentsia...
It is Wednesday.
That's Majority Report.
My name is
Everyone in our government intelligentsia says that the idea that he was a terrorist and that he was planning an attack on the U.S. was razor thin.
Downtown Brooklyn, USA.
So, yeah, let's talk about what government intelligence you actually believe. The one that fits your narrative or the one that's actually true.
Good. And Iran shows restraint in its public retaliation, at least its public one, as of last night. Meanwhile, a Ukrainian airplane plane
3 days ago, the leader of Hezbollah literally
model,
threatened the U.S. troops in the Middle East to stop defending terrorists. You know what he also did? He also said that when he talks about death to America, he's talking about our world leaders and not our citizens. He said that, I understand the citizens do not want a war, which is a much better and much more measured response than from our idiot president. I thought government intelligence were deep state shills who were fake news. Yeah. You're not listening to government intelligence, you're listening to what you've been spoon-fed from cable news. Exactly. From listening to you, you don't seem to trust or believe anything at all that the U.S. says. It depends. It depends, okay? There's actual ways to back up this stuff. There has been no evidence to prove these claims, and the lower level intelligentsia has came out and said that what the upper brass is saying isn't true, which is very similar to what happened in Iraq. I saw this coming in May when they labeled the Revolutionary Guard terrorists.
While
Yeah.
the Trump judicial
Well, you
architect,
should have started speaking out about it.
Leonard Leo leads a new
So we secure the Middle
conservative
East for
slush fund
Europe while they rip us off on trade and pay for
HUD
their Medicare.
to roll back housing desegregation rule
What?
started during the Obama administration because
So we secure the Middle East for Europe. There's no way to secure the Middle East. And Europe doesn't want us to do anything in Iran.
Ladies and gentlemen,
They wanted to stick with the deal,
if
the
you
nuclear
were
deal,
listening to the
okay?
program on Friday, and
I think
we actually
Iran
have
is
2 more
officially
interviews
labeled
that
America
we'll
a
put
terrorist
out
state
today
now.
that
And
we
you know
did on
what? They're
Friday,
right.
I think,
Death the U.S., but I don't mean the
that
U.S.
we'll
citizens.
release
Yeah.
on YouTube, probably.
Imagine adding nuance to
We
a
were
statement.
talking about
Did you
Iran,
know it's Chinese New
and I
Year
can't
of the
remember
rat
which one did
soon?
we play
Yep.
on the show
We
on
are the
Friday.
rats.
Who was it, Brendan, that we played
Trump
on Friday?
gets an entire year. Completely terrorizing,
Valley Does.
destabilizing the
Valley
Middle
Does.
East is a funny way to secure it. Yep.
And
Iran has been
What-
pretty
was it? I
clear
can't-
what death to America
Valley Does,
means.
okay.
It means death to leadership, not
and
citizens.
basically what we
Well, Europe uses
discussed was
Iran's
it really
oil.
comes down to
I
what
mean,
would
yeah,
be
but
the nature
they want to stick with the
of
nuclear deal
the
that we broke.
retaliation
and that we
by the
completely
Iranians
fucked by killing their
to the
general.
assassination of
Remember, leftists were
Soleimani.
bitching. We pulled
And
troops out.
would it be
Now they're complaining
sufficient
when we actually attack someone.
for
What
the
leftists
Iranian
were
government
bitching
to
about us pulling
satisfy
troops out?
their constituency, which is the
You're
millions
making
of
that
people
up.
who were marching,
If you're talking about the MSNBC and
participating
like
in the funeral,
mainstream media,
procession.
they're not the left.
For Soleimani.
Jesus.
But also
Gotta imagine having some nuance when it comes to war.
measured enough.
You threaten the U.S.
So
bases in the
that
Middle East. How is that
Donald
against
Trump-
the leaders? Sorry about that. He also threatened
As of last
our
night,
military, which
that,
are the people that are fighting.
at least in terms
Like,
of
I'm
what
not
the Iranians
happy
would
about
do
that. I don't feel
but
good
that is
about
what
that.
happened.
The fact that they haven't released
They
any
fired
casualty numbers, from what I've seen,
a
the
series
only people that
of
died were Iraqi,
ballistic
which is
missiles,
terrible enough and should show that Iraq should
into,
be really pissed
two
about that, but
bases
they
that
might
were-
find it justified considering we're an
at least
occupying
these
force.
bases are quite large.
And we pissed them off
that
by
were,
blowing up one of their roads to kill a guy who
were
was
not,
popular in both
manned.
Iraq
They basically
and Iran.
fired them into areas that were empty.
Not all wars are
Now,
good. Not having troops in some areas
it's
is
not
good. Having troops
inconceivable that there was
in
some
others is
coordination
good. I
through
want to
back
go on
channels
holiday
with
to
the United
Iran.
States,
Is it safe?
frankly.
Definitely not.
It's not impossible.
It's not dry.
Also, just as likely that they have
Zoe. Hey.
intelligence resources
Hey.
on the ground in Iraq
Zoe.
to know where to put
Calm
things.
down.
But this was
You're
all
fine.
very deliberate. That doesn't mean that the Iranians won't be doing things like
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Seeing all leftists crying for the Kurds. Who? Who did that? Who? Oh, the Kurds? Yeah, we abandoned the Kurds. We abandoned allies. That's not the same thing. These are different things. You do understand that. That is the dumbest take. That shows you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. Oh my god.
A piece of theater.
Yeah, and you were right on that, Frozen. Jesus Christ.
Obviously, we're going to talk more about this as we go. But we like to start the show with
He's
something a little bit
so
lighter.
stupid.
Of course,
He is
there
just so
is
good. Why are you
nothing
even
right
here,
now.
Patriot?
But and
Why are you
I
even
have
here?
I have some thoughts on this, and we will get into it.
Yeah, put some mayo in there. Make it a little bit
Both
more
in terms
spicy.
of like the the ridiculous of all of this is, but we are in one of those classic situations where Donald Trump is now being lauded by some in the media for not.
Yeah, I mean,
killing
that's why I
us.
said it doesn't really matter. It's not like you made your account
I
today.
saved your life.
The idea is, you know,
And,
trolls come in and they make
this
new
is,
accounts
I
that
have
very
some thoughts
day.
on it. I mean, like
But-
literally to the point where like
But yeah,
I'm
calm down.
not quite there, Jamie. Don't get too excited, but almost.
Yeah, practice is right.
Almost.
Let's listen to Daddy Sam.
Thoughts, but not quite.
I'm listening.
Right, I know. I just said that so to get you focused for the rest of the program. But I don't. I'm not quite there. So this happened on Fox News last night. In addition to Sean Hannity, of course, calling for complete destruction of Iran, but not so much that we need to put boots on the ground. You know, that kind of war. The one that exists in like Space Troopers or whatever the hell it is. Yeah, Starship Troopers. It's some type of fantasy world. So here is
Space Troopers.
Not Laura Ingram.
Sam.
It's what's her name? Shannon Breen.
You're showing your boomer.
Has got Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. Now you know he's Lieutenant Governor of Texas because he's wearing his Lieutenant Governor outfit.
I agree.
Which is like,
except for I believe that we need to stop funding
he does. He looks like some type of park
Israel.
Ranger. Like he's like a.
Or watching you eat juxtaposed with Daddy Sam's voice is unsettling. I'm okay with it.
Is it not?
At least he knows what a Beyblade
it
is.
is. It's not.
Yeah.
Wow, I was gonna say it looked
Fuck
like
Dan Patrick.
they took
Agreed.
some guy. It looked like they took Brandon Straka and
Thank you.
His Uncle Straka.
and he passed away, and then they sort of embalmed him and put him next to him. But this guy's
It's my
some
green
type
tea
of,
because I've been feeling a little slightly under the
some
weather.
type of,
This is how I keep my
former
throat
State
good.
Department,
And yes, I am stirring it with a fork.
guy who's
Just because I
there.
don't feel like getting up and getting a spoon.
Look,
Deal with me.
yeah, wear a blazer.
Yep,
And,
little bit of honey.
so here is,
This is Kroger
Lieutenant
brand
Governor Dan
citrus
Patrick
green
is
tea.
talking
I
about
love it. It's good
Iran
shit.
has now apparently tried to
really
infiltrate
nice.
their Texas state computer system. You recall all the times that he was upset
Yeah,
about how many
it
times
is.
like Russia did it or anybody else, but this is what he's here for. And the amazing thing is, I mean, look, Donald Trump is nuts. He's nuts. This is what when you read
Understatement.
about, like, what would it have been like to have been a subject of the, in an era where there was a king with syphilis or something like that. I mean, we are living essentially in that era, and the problem is that our system is just not.
Yeah.
In any
I don't
way,
drink
and I don't know
coffee,
that
I
any
drink
system
tea.
is designed for it.
I also don't drink energy
But
drinks anymore. Those are
all of
cancer
this-
to me. Oh,
All of it.
I have stomach problems, so.
Every bit of it, completely unnecessary. And I mean, to the point where you start to think that the logic of it is
I know.
there's just a
It's
completely
natural
different
caffeine though.
plane of
It doesn't
existence
affect
in
my my
which,
stomach
this
problems.
makes sense.
The same.
But
Oh, that's
Lieutenant Governor
that's
of
Daddy Sam
Texas
Cedar.
has a slightly different take on this.
Okay, so I want to talk about something really interesting that I heard
I
today
agree,
that was
I
a
agree.
shocking number to me,
Like,
Lieutenant Governor.
energy drinks
you're a
are
great advocate
really bad for
talking
me.
about, reports
And
from
I
state
was
agencies of up to
drinking them
10,000
heavily for like
potential cyber intrusions
2 or 3 years.
per minute. Is this
So
something
I
that
quit
regularly
around
happens
Christmas
for you
last
all,
year.
Or is this something that
Pause
you
it for
think
1 second. Now, what they're obviously
Oh,
talking about is
I don't
some
watch
type of,
David
defense,
Pakman. That guy drives me
denial
nuts.
of service,
DDoS.
DDoS attack.
So wait,
from
is this
a
your
bunch
idea of
like,
unbiased news source?
repeat,
No.
like more or less bots. It's not like
10,000 different guys.
I read other
10,000
news sources, guys.
Iranian IT
I prefer
guys
white
going
tea.
like,
It's a little
"Go,
sweeter
go,
than green
go,
tea. Same
go,
thing, though.
Go. But of course,
I haven't messed around with white
this
tea.
is one dude
I also
who,
like black tea,
it's like,
Earl
I'm
Grey,
on the
but
Texas
can't drink it right
desk,
now. I like
and
mixing
I
it
just,
with
I set
creamer
it up this morning,
and sugar,
then I go
so
over and I head over to Georgia.
that wouldn't be
it's-
exactly good for
cyber
allergies.
intrusions per minute? Is this something that regularly
Yeah, all the
happens
sugar
for
and
you
shit,
all,
too.
or is this something that you think is in somehow related to what's going on overseas?
We were having our domestic terrorism task force quarterly meeting today, and in that meeting, Shannon, it was discussed that in the last 48 hours that we had seen a tremendous uptick. Now, I will keep classified what we normally get.
So do people still think World War III is going to happen?
We were now able to trace 10,000
we don't know what's going to happen. Anything is on the table right now. We need to, I'm making the point to not jump to any conclusions, but I'm not writing anything off either, okay? So, we need to be ahead of it. Acknowledging that that is a possibility is the best way to rally against it and make sure it doesn't happen. An informed public, an actionable public about the consequences that can happen from these sorts of things is incredibly important.
With 10,000 scans a minute that we know are coming from their country, they may be also attacking us through other proxies from other areas. Then they are serious about trying to get into.
Based, are you starting to turn on Trump yet?
In this country.
Yeah, and we know they've done it before.
Shannon, can I say something?
Sure.
they've done
Because
before. Can I
he
just say
keeps
something
breaking
quickly about tonight?
his
The
promises.
president has proven
Oh,
once
we'll
again
stay out of the
that
Middle
he's
East. I don't
brilliant
want
at
war with
being
Iran. Obama
predictably
does.
Unpredictable. He's like a master chess player. He always knows many moves ahead of where he is, but his opponents or his enemies never know what he's doing next. And I think tonight Iran is really off
Hey, geek
balance.
with glasses.
My dad used to have a saying with his generation of they don't know to shower or wind their
Well,
watch.
I
but
do
they
thank
use a
you for
different word
saying I'm
shower.
handsome.
I
Thank you
think
for the
tonight
follow,
Iran
geek with
doesn't know to
glasses.
shower or wind their watch, quite frankly.
As of right now, it
They
would
do know
seem
how to
Iran
select
is acting
targets
independent
across
of their
Meta
own,
and
their
the
now dead
entirety
military
of
generals. So
South
we're seeing
Of course,
attacks
of course.
targeting United
The-
States troops. So
and-
why don't we
and-
just
and let's
move
be
troops
clear
out of
here,
Iran
you know,
and station
the,
troops in nearby countries?
He is,
They're attacking bases in
predictable
Iraq,
insofar as
actually.
At the end, at one point, he just like wipes all the pieces off the board,
Patriot,
and that's it. So we're
don't
gonna start
beg
again.
other
I mean, this is
streamers
just,
to unban you in their
sheer
chat and my
insanity
chat.
That,
I've already
we've just
warned Sam
crossed-
Cedar
we've
about this.
crossed
You
the-
get one
just-
warning.
The Rubicon has been crossed, ladies and
And
gentlemen.
just to be really put a finer point on it, like Richard Nixon
So,
had this
please do
madman
not.
theory, which
That's
meant,
something
like,
I consider a
we are
bannable
going
offense,
to commit
okay?
genocide and war crimes in Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia, and then we will leverage that to have an arms agreement with the Soviet Union, to open China. Completely immoral, absolutely.
But you get one
murderous
warning.
War criminal, but very coherent strategy.
Just so
if
frozen,
read
you
about,
know-
like, the
you know how I
painstaking
roll.
Process of like, how do they send messages to Mao? How
Oh,
do they
Geek's-
lay all
Geek's
the
a good
groundwork
dude.
for this stuff. Like, there is an analog to what they're claiming he's doing, and it is some of the most both.
All right,
utterly
well,
immoral,
please do
but
not
also
harass
very
my
strategic,
other
you know,
chatters.
thinking we've
Okay.
ever seen.
I want
But
other
here's
streamers to
the
come in
thing.
and feel welcome here.
There is no.
So, like I said, that's your
wanna
warning.
get to that. Let me do the ads first. And then I wanna
My
get to
chat
the
is my
individual
chat.
time for this.
I am a sovereign
But
nation unto
the,
myself.
There is there
I've
is
seen
an
the
analog,
attack on
but
the Iraqi operating
like,
bases,
there-
but I
there
feel
is
like
there
they
is no
only attacked it as
geopolitical
retaliation of
That's what I'm
us
saying.
denying their
You're
request of
making a
leaving
claim
Iran.
that is not based in
That is a good point, yeah.
anything. Richard Nixon didn't go.
Not even
"We're
just
gonna
that, the
bomb
fact
us.
that we
Then I'm
killed their
gonna
general,
have a
but
press
yeah.
conference. Then I'm
Yeah,
gonna
we
insult Mao."
I
escalated
don't
this
think he
shit.
gets that far.
We
I'll be honest
escalated
with you.
this.
Of course not. Well, I'm
We
saying
Trump
did
gets
this.
that far ahead, even.
Can you imagine sincerely believing that Trump is some master chess player here? This
That's
guy
the
is
thing.
in charge of a big state.
Or the alternate is
You guys, I swear,
having the
they have to tell
complete lack of
themselves.
shamelessness that you'll say that. Like, it's one or the other. They're both.
Yeah, Turing's going to be less perspective.
Folks,
I love Turing. Such a good guy.
it's 2020. It's time for us all to quit this business and start fresh. And the way I'm going to do that, or at least the way that I'm going to continue to fantasize about it, is I'm going to head over to Capterra.
Iran escalated in
I've talked about
1979.
Capterra
Yeah,
in
and we
the
further
past. It's the
escalated it by
free
selling them
online
weapons.
resource that millions of people use. They use it.
We
every
we
month.
we escalated it actually in 1953 by deposing their leaders. But you know, please go off, King. Jesus Christ,
Different just categories. They have over like 700
you are so
categories of
bad at
business.
this. You are so bad
That
at
if
this,
you
bud.
were looking for a new career, that's where I would start.
Oh yeah, I
Of course,
thought
that's
I
how
saw
we
you.
put
I
it
thought I saw
forward.
you in a
It's for
clip.
people who are
I was
actually
like, hey, I
working
think
in
that's
these
good.
industries or in these
Count guy, I
businesses.
hope you
And
get
you can
or
search
to live your
and
CNA
compare
dream. I think
software
would be
that is
good.
available
I
for
used to be a
those
CNA.
businesses.
Already did
And so
that.
it helps your business. And Capterra helps
My
your
dream
business
is to
thrive.
become a nurse.
Makes the software buying process and
Well,
really
I do
discovery
appreciate that.
process
I
super
have heard
easy
of your
and super
exploits, though.
effective as
I will
possible.
say.
Gets you educated as to
Don't think
what
that
the
I'm
possible
unaware of where your
downfalls or
stance
the
is leaning.
upsides of specific softwares are that are relevant for your business, because you have over 1 million reviews from real software users. You can discover everything you need to make an informed decision. Like
We're
I
getting
said,
ready to raid.
700 specific
Who remembers
categories
when
of software.
England
You can filter by
attacked
either
Iran in the
features or by
1850s?
pricing or whatever.
I said
Compare
1950s,
software
and
side
that
by
was
side.
we, but you
Capterra
know.
has all the info and data you need.
In hindsight,
in one
we
place.
see that
You know,
killing Soleimani
I'll just sit here
was
and go
a bad idea
started in
because, again, the
jail
Iranian
management software.
military and
Well,
militias
we
are
get rid of
acting
that,
independent of
right?
order. But we just assumed he was the one in charge of the missile attacks on the Saudi oil station. Yeah.
Job board software. If you want to start your own job board.
We declare him
job evaluation software.
a terrorist because he responded to a proxy war that we started. We consider him a terrorist because he
job shop software. I don't know anyone that
I don't know.
K through 12 software. If you have a school,
he's helped Yemen, which we shouldn't be in anyways.
I'm looking at that right now.
I know the legends are true. I'm well aware.
So there's like.
But as long as you don't act like that in my chat, I do not care.
Product management. I'm like, I don't even know what this stuff means. But there's people out there who are listening, and I'm looking at how many different software there
my
are.
My point,
for
Patriot,
I
and the reason I approve that comment is because,
means?
You know, 1953 isn't that far ago. Okay, there's still countries in South America who haven't recovered from us deposing their leaders. When we destabilize a region, it takes a long time for them to restabilize. Iran was actually stabilized. We could have let the people push for more progressive policy in their country, rather than giving them a common enemy and killing a popular leader. Just saying.
Also,
they might not restabilize in the way we expect them to. Case in point, Iran.
You do realize sometimes.
Exactly. And when that does happen, we depose the leaders again. And usually that either is they become some sort of destructive force against us and our military, or they God, I lost my train of thought. Or they go against our business interests and move to the left. We considered him a terrorist because we thought he was, even as the news was announced of his death. I responded with good, but again, in hindsight, I realized this is bad because the lack of order coming from the Iranian military and militias has escalated since his death, which we knew was going to happen. Well, we knew.
Ones that I'm looking at now, they have a couple bestsellers.
We've been waiting for you. Honestly, did anyone expect them not to respond? They were going to respond. You know. I don't think the world. I don't think the world is better for having him dead. I'm sorry. That doesn't mean I support anything he does. That doesn't mean I think he's a good guy. By no means was he a good guy. But neither are we. Neither are we.
There's a couple that I'm eyeing, and
so
I may just end up listening tomorrow on my walk to work. I could listen to two if
the point is, like,
one is
we didn't need to kill the guy. He was working with us at the time. He wasn't in hiding. We went over the definition of a terrorist yesterday, the U.S. legal definition of terrorist, and we fit that definition more than he does. Like, look it up. Look it up. Like, you'll see the parallels more fitting who we are and how we have acted than how Iran has.
For just our audience, go to Blinkist.com/majority report. Start your
I'm sorry, I can't not call this out.
After 7 days, which I imagine you might, and probably will, you get 25% off of Blinkist.
Most people didn't know who the guy was, and now all of a sudden everyone's a terrorist expert. Yeah. Nah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly, Patriot. It works on the other end too. All of a sudden, he's the #1 terrorist in the world. Right? Patriot? All of a sudden, you didn't know his name over a week ago, but all of a sudden, he's the #1 terrorist in the world, and we needed to get rid of him. Okay. My first ever time in politics, and not to mention political stream. Welcome, Unknown Abyss. I expected a response. I just honestly didn't think it'd be this centralized or coordinated. I don't think anyone could have really predicted this level of corruption amongst the Iranians. I mean,
my daughter on Friday texted
I have seen plenty of people be able to predict that.
And I thought, all right, this is my daughter.
We deposed a popular leader. They're going to respond, and the way they're going to respond is going to be very targeted, and it is going to be destructive.
Some kids are 6, some kids are 14, and I saw this.
No, he didn't. Trump had no idea who this guy was. I guarantee 6 months ago, he forgot the guy's name.
Like, is there any psychiatrists or psychologists who are putting out stuff? And there's some, and it's sort of generic. But there was one in Time magazine.
Like, he doesn't even know who the leaders are he talked to yesterday. And you're going to say that he knew this guy. Like, you don't even believe that. You don't even believe that, bud. Because he talks about the people he doesn't like. He talks about them openly. He talks about them endlessly. He gets obsessed with people he doesn't like.
Now, for anybody who
he has no filter.
A respectable amount of history, like
exactly unknown abyss. Yeah, and the declaration of terrorist, according to U.S. law, we fit that definition more than he did. He was not acting as a non-state actor. He was not acting in private. He wasn't hidden in any way, shape, or form. He was actually fairly public. He was meeting with the U.S. military leaders. He was riding in a convoy with limited security to a commercial flight that he was traveling. That he traveled from and was going to travel back to Iran in commercial flight.
Who was the Iranian
president, prime minister? There is nothing in the definition of how we define a terrorist that fits Soleimani. We just call him a terrorist because we call him a terrorist because we're led by a fucking moron.
So they engaged in a coup, got rid of him, replaced him with the Shah, who turned out to be rather dictatorial.
Even then, I question that. I think he has to be reminded. But even the Iranian Prime Minister is trying to protect the United States troops by asking them to leave Iran at the fear of retaliation, proving even the most powerful people in Iran have no control of the Iranian military or militias. I guess I just wasn't as educated as some because I thought there'd be some level of decentralization. Well, he wasn't a powerful enough leader to decentralize the area.
And because the United States
we're gonna raid in a minute, actually, based, but
with the Shah, gave him support.
Don't promote that.
Obviously, put him into office.
Frozen, if you're here, can you ban Shady Elite?
That takes us up to where Time magazine starts.
I think, and I've never indulged much in politics, that the impeachment explanation makes most sense.
American diplomats and citizens hostage. They were released
Jesus,
after 44 days.
am I getting botted?
For many years. In 1979, that's where it started. Just like,
all right.
That's weird, why would they do that?
This is as good a time as any to raid.
Okay, so we've established we cannot tell our
let me make
kids,
sure.
Look, and listen. I'm going to try and be as sort of gentle about this as possible. Back in the old days,
that I don't have a bunch of them in my deal.
Put aside for a moment Venezuela and
Iceman,
Bolivia, and
you're gone.
Back in the old days, we would interfere with other countries' governments.
Shady Elite,
and
you're
what
gone.
we did was wrong. And then it took 25 years to metastasize.
And I'm hoping they don't end up raiding over.
And they ended up there was a revolution.
We're gonna.
And because of the United
We're
States
gonna go ahead and raid over to touring. I appreciate you guys coming by.
And after
again,
a year and a half,
the announcement added up to nothing but a call for support, which we're not going to get.
I'm not going to get
that was
into the role that Ronald Reagan
dick
played
waving
in them
and a call for support we're not going to get. I should be back for the usual 3 o'clock stream. We'll see. I'm going to try and get done the stuff that I need to get done as soon as possible. If that can happen, cool. I might be a little late. We'll see. But thanks for coming by, guys. We'll see you later. And
go from 1979 to 2018.
come back later.
Tensions increased again after
Appreciate
President Trump said
the
the U.S. would no longer participate
appreciate
in
the
a
chat.
2015 deal with Iran.
Have a good
At
day.
least they got that. Now, no longer participate is really not the right word, but okay. This international agreement, in other words, this international agreement set strict limits